Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, happy Saturday, wherever you are in the world. This is USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and we want to say a big thank you to all of our loyal followers, and we want to welcome our new viewers over on Roku Worldwide, Amazon Fire, and Instagram, and soon to be Apple TV. So thank you wherever you are in the world listening or watching. We really appreciate you. Today's show is Coexistence and Sustainability with Pet Psychic AMINAH, and we're going to talk about bats. It's driving me batty. Everything we need to know about bats. Let's welcome our dear friend AMINAH from California. Hello, welcome.
Welcome everybody else and wherever you're from. And you and I can sit in this beautiful green heaven.
It is such a great feeling. It's very uplifting with the sun. And I know today here in Florida, it's just pouring and it's it kind of brings you down. But just having this background, it's such a great feeling. So you have accomplished so much. You've been working with animals for years. You've been helping people with their animals. Tell us where you got your passion to really connect in an area that is really specialized. You're helping people communicate with their animals who have passed on. You're also communicating with animals that are here trying to speak to their owners. Tell us where you got the passion and drive for this.
It's a simple answer and a lot of fun in life. I am the fifth child of two teachers and educators that my parents were. And being the fifth child makes you kind of can do a lot of things on your own because my parents are so busy with all the other kids and making sure everybody's to their activities. My dad was a coach and a teacher. He taught math, believe it or not. He was very good at it, and he coached a lot of teams. So we were always active, always doing something. What my mother was really good at seeing is what her children were really good at. and what they really wanted to excel at. For example, one of my sisters is a cellist in the orchestra. So it's a really big deal that she's very good. And of course, my parents went to the extent to buy the instrument, which is a big investment, as a lot of parents know. And if your kid loves it and doesn't put it down, great. But some of them sit in the closet forever. My mom saw that I was very interested in the outdoors. We did a ton of gardening. And I would honestly say we did a ton of weeding for my mom's garden. That was either discipline or, hey, we need you to go out and do that. And it's like, oh gosh, I'd lived in the desert with a garden. It was hot, but I learned a lot. So when I was 11, I was fortunate enough to be in a place, again, my mom knew people and I was there to help. And it was a great horned owl. I have a picture of it to this day of me standing there because it was for a magazine, for an article. And you really can see that that was the tipping point of, I'm not just helping out. I'm not just cleaning cages. I'm actually interacting with the animals and the world that I want to be in. I go on to do that for years with a education in not only animal science, but also I worked in the vet clinics. I really wanted to round that out because our health is vital. It's the same for pets. We have to feed them well. We have to treat them well. We have to respect their proclivities, whatever we think is terrible or wonderful, and get their positive. That's what we're doing on this show. And that's what we're going to talk about. Some really amazing animals on this show again today.
Episode 159. You've been tolerating me all this time, so thank you.
And vice versa.
And I'm always learning from you. And today I thought it'd be interesting to talk about bats, because when you think about coexistence and sustainability, and in that trailer that we ran in the beginning of the show, the movie trailer, you saw that coexistence and sustainability, a big fish and a tiny fish together. So right. Bats, I think, are very much misunderstood. But if one flew in here right now, I would be freaking out, screaming and running, and you'd be on the show by yourself. So what is a bat? And I know you've worked with them, you've had experience. And should we be afraid?
Never, never. The biggest thing you should be afraid of is people. Honestly, we're undependable. We jump at the, and I don't mean fears necessarily, but we do things without a lot of cause and effect, knowledge, and just say, hey, I'm gonna draw this candy wrapper on the ground because it just doesn't matter. It's just a little wrapper. And then an animal that comes by can smell the sugar on it or whatever, and they try to ingest it thinking, oh, it's food, and it kills that animal. Everything we're looking at today with the global warming, with all of the animals in trouble, with so many going instinct, this is all because of the way we have gone through the world. I truly believe, I'm going to make it really simple. There's a lot of more depth. I'm not here to win you over anything. Just the facts are, we're still letting our trash float around outside, not keeping it underneath. We have so many modalities. For example, right now I'm talking to you on a computer and it's getting recorded and all that. What happens when the computer dies, right? Because they are not recyclable by most means. This is the world we live in. So many things we use die eventually, and then we have no way to limit our trash, limit our waste, limit our impact on the world. So remember, we're talking about bats. What are bats doing? Bats are keeping the whole bug industry under control. Bugs are necessary. There's frogs. There are all kinds of other animals that eat bugs. Bats have wings so they can go farther out, and there are fruit bats, there are bug bats, there are different kinds of bats depending on where you are in the world. And they want nothing. If you hear nothing, all I say, all hours, is they want nothing to do with you. They see us as carnivores, just like everybody else. And it doesn't matter how many vegetables you eat, that's how you're seen. And it's like, oh, I don't want to be eaten or killed by that thing. The best thing you can do anytime you're afraid of a snake, a bat, a tarantula, whatever it is, a bird, a dog. I had a sibling that was very terrified of dogs after she was bitten as a child. And it took her a long time, literally 30 years, to get over that with her own children and get a dog. So what I'm asking you is send a blessing, say, thank you very much, but I'm going to walk this way. And it's really, really that easy to get out of the way of animals like bats. They want nothing to do with you. Again, they want nothing to do with you. Put a banner over top. They want nothing to do with you. You don't represent a fruit or a bug or anything or a great tree to hang out, literally hang out and sleep. That none of that is a thing. So just know you're safe. The freaking out is usually our energy changes. So the heat in our body, you can start sweating, all of this stress reaction, the animal feels it and is going, oh my God, where's the flyer? Where's the fire? Who's coming? Who's killing us?
Now let's look at this picture. Look at the wingspan on this bat.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, if this thing was coming by me right now, I tell you, I'm all about coexistence. I would be terrified because look at the look on its face. It looks kind of scary, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this bat is only like the length of your fingers. The wings are another thing. The wings are a whole nother thing. But it's a little bitty bat with a little bitty mouth. So it's not. Again, it can't do you a lot of damage compared to the carnivores which we are, regardless how much meat you don't eat or do eat. It is, whoa, wait a minute, that carnivore is going to kill me. Everybody else, all the other carnivores out here trying to kill me, so why not this one? Just respect the fact that you're bigger and scarier just in anything. And then if you panic, all that panic comes out your skin. And it says, oh, fight or flight. Fight or flight. What are we doing? And you're like, oh, heck no, I'm out of here. Because we don't understand their little teeth and their little things, and they're all sucking blood. No, there's fruit bats. There's a ton of kinds of bats. So just know, whatever you have in your neighborhood, thank them for eating the bugs. And in the areas that have like mosquitoes and things, they really, like Alaska and all these places in Florida and all these places, should just absolutely bring in more bats. Don't bring any more bats.
Not in Florida.
Because it's illegal and you don't know what type of bat that your state needs.
Now, when I see the bats like this hanging upside down with their wings tucked in, I'm not as scared.
Right.
But I almost feel, and I'm really going out there, I feel that they kind of look human in a way. And maybe that's what's freaking me out. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I can see where you'd see that in their eyes and their nose.
Yes.
It's a face. It's a face. We are so conditioned to seeing faces on cats and dogs for sure. But I challenge you to see how many people see a face, with all the good and bad a face does, on a snake or a bat. Because the fear is there. The fear is there because we all grew up with Count Dracula and his bats and all of those stories. Right. So we're ingrained really in Hollywood. Just it made the greatest horror movies. And we've all either seen the commercial or gone, oh, I'm not watching that. I'm not into horror movies. That's not my thing. But we
look
know
at this little
that
face.
Bats are around. Isn't it cute?
I mean, it looks cute in this picture. It didn't look so cute in the other one. So
I mean, there's so many.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
What kind of environments do bats typically live in? Or do they like?
Well, they cross over quite a few. They are in Alaska, and as most people know, Alaska has snow for a great deal of time. But they're cave dwellers most of the time. They do the sleep in the daytime, work at night. Not all of them. Not all of them. I can't make a general statement on all of them because there's a lot of different kinds in the different topographies you are in. If you're in a cold environment, then they have a fuzzier wingspan than you would see where the one we saw. It looks just like skin, and that it is great for when you want to fly somewhere. You need to be light, and bird feathers are the same way. So it depends on where you live You can look up, Google is at everybody's finger, and find out what type of bats. But if you have a prevalent issue with bats, like some states do, you're going to probably have known about them since you were growing up, because a lot of attics can get infested with bats. It's dark. You got a lot of dusty boxes up there or whatever. Nobody goes up there like for decades. That's a lot of the time. The interviews I did years ago with exterminators, believe it or not, it was one of their jobs that would come over and remove the bats. What I loved, eventually there was a gentleman who started actually coming to get the bats and relocate them. Now that's a little lot more involved, and they got the license for it, because you can't just move wildlife. That's not legal. You can't have like a deer eating all the grass like you guys do in Florida, and then you just say, I'm going to move him 600 miles away. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not legal for 100 reasons. Deers are in packs and in a group, in a herd, all those terms, and they need that family connection to survive. A bat is not doing that. They will hang out on the best branch with 10 of its best buddies, but they don't need each other to coexist and to find food. They can all find one bug at a time.
And thank you for that. We do have a comment on Facebook from Daryl Hardwin from South Africa. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
So what I read was that a bat can live typically 4 to 16 years, normally 4. And to your point, they are very small. They're the size of a mouse, and they're nocturnal. So they come out at night, which is probably why they're really scary. And what they'll do is, I think what I read, before they actually turn in for the night, they will go into a pond or a lake, and while they're in flight, they drop their lower jaw, and then they take in some water while they're still flying, which is really kind of cool.
And YouTube is a fabulous source of getting to watch that. And I mean, I would have been loved to be the camera person and gotten that, but you got to stay up really late for those, or wait around really long time, because trained bats, I don't know that that's a thing yet, training bats. But there are those that are meat eaters, and there are those that have fruits and vegetables. And I mean fruits and vegetables, that's all. And it's called a fruit bat, believe it or not. That's as jazzy as its name got. So a fruit bat is literally going to go over and get the raspberry, get this. I don't know that they necessarily will get a pear. It's a little bit big, but they're going to stay with the berries. Pretty much that of what I've read about. And they're, again, nothing is going to get you until you panic. So if you walk up to a snarling dog that's barking its head off, trying to warn you and say, hey, I don't want you on my property and I don't want you anywhere near me, and you keep going and you're wondering why you got bit, okay, the same thing. Bats don't go after people. They don't suck your blood. It's a Hollywood thing, not a reality thing. And there are bats that do that. But believe it or not, Dr. Jacalyn, can you imagine what the vampire bats, if we call them that easily enough, what do you think they go after for blood? The ones that do blood, the vampire bats.
Reptiles?
Cattle, mostly.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Guess what? It stands still while it's chewing. There's no danger of being kicked off the cow because they do. Now, there are insects that do this also, and not very many bats do this from what I understand, and maybe none, and I'm completely off. But there is a type of numbing with the first part of the bite that comes through their saliva, and it kind of numbs the skin over, and they get to eat and drink, and it's drinking and have that. And it's amazing because even on the wonderful World Wide Web, you can see pictures of people that have a bat on their cattle. Now there's a downside for the cattle. If the bats are kind of come every day and get lunch, maybe dinner and breakfast, that's really going to compromise the cattle because he needs his blood or her blood. So there's that balance you need to make. Now, most bats will go farther afield and go back and forth. Depends on what the resources are and many, many other things that I'm leaving out. We're just doing an overall feature on what happens. There are vampire bats. I'm not sure how they got that name, and everybody's afraid of them, but there's also called fruit bats. And what do you think they eat? Fruit.
Fruit.
So
they're competing with the iguana.
Exactly. Well, and the iguana has and you tell me, because you're living with them, they have a very small bit of fruit and more the greenery of the fruit.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
They love these hedges out there.
Yeah, so it could be a team effort.
Yeah.
I'll take the fruit, you get the greenery.
I just want to watch. I don't want to play on the team. But something else about bats is that they're incredibly intelligent. And they don't like to get themselves wet because they're cold-blooded, I believe. And so they want to stay warm.
Right. Right. And that's why it is so important and vital for them to have the ability to wrap their wings around them and get into warm spots. If you don't regulate your body heat and you take nature on doing that, it's a big struggle. It's a really big struggle. And blood has a huge part of that in keeping us warm and keeping our muscles lubricated and all these body parts. So you can imagine if this tiny little bat, and they have bigger wingspans and smaller wingspans depending on the species and what part of the world they're in, but their bodies are pretty, at least to me, it seems like they're comparable within inches of each other. So it's not a ton of blood that they need if they are vampire bats, and they actually do call them that, vampire bats. And then they call them fruit bats when they are eating primarily fruit. And where they're getting their energy from that is the sugars, is the sugars that the fruits provide. So it is, the Coca-Cola of the bat industry or whatever, with a little nutrition. So that's why you're going to see them change up. Some places they'll have one kind of fruit. You're going to go to some places that's all there is. That's fine. They seem to be able to adapt fairly well. What I want to really, really stress with everybody is they want nothing to do with you. Right. You are a carnivore. They are going to go, ooh, meat eater, going that way. Because they do realize they are on the plate for anybody who eats meat. And
they have a lot of predators that are after them, for sure.
Yeah.
And also what I read was that they weigh about the same amount as a penny.
Yep. Because it's all air. Their bones that go through the wings, through here, they have the center bone just like a bird and all that. And they are pencil or less than a pencil size pasta, maybe the charger on my computer, really small. So they break easily. But do you understand why birds and these bats that fly are their wings and their bones are so thin? You know why?
To make them lighter so they can
exactly.
be faster.
It's all aerodynamics.
Yes.
We did not get in a plane all by ourselves. We watched nature. We watched the eagles and the birds and everybody fly. And somebody somewhere said, I want to do that. And so they run across some greenery, right? And had their little fake wings. I can't imagine, because I think there's a whole article, at least 10, right, with the brothers that finally got the plane off the ground. But how many times they went, what? Because they ran with it. When they got that windy day, they ran with it. Well, we have some pretty fast runners now. I don't know if and the cardboards or the all the things in the jokes that you see that they made the box or the way to fly, and then the day that somebody put an engine to it, miraculous.
Incredible.
But they learned all of that from the inside.
Watching the birds. Yeah,
watching
right.
the birds, watching the bats. How
yeah,
do they do?
I think the other thing about bats, now that we're talking about it, I think before we were doing this show, I envisioned bats like they're bigger than people. They're like enormous.
Ear to ear, hand to hand, finger
and they're
to finger.
Tiny.
Little bitty ones.
It's just their wings. And by the way, to your point, it's keeping them warm.
Yes. That's what they do when they go to sleep. They got their own blanket.
Now, why are they upside down? Do we know that?
I don't think anybody's really fleshed that out. There are like a lot of, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, because we know if we do it, our head's going to implode with that. But their cycle, and I hadn't looked this up in a long time, so I'd love it if somebody looked this up and got back to us. What are the books saying now, and what are the uh, people who are watching bats have to say now? Because their wings are actually look like and act like skin. Of course, I've actually held bats, worked with them, and gotten to see all this up close, and luckily live ones, not just cadavers or ones that were pinned. But that netting basically is of their wing, which they can do just like birds and change directions, manage the winds, all of that. But it's very, very much a flexity type of skin. So I think, would be classified as skin, and it goes from those wooden hollow bones all the way down. So where do you think the first guys who decided they wanted to fly, they studied the birds and the bats and the ones that were already up in the air. They literally studied them to get what was aerodynamics, how much of a load with a human on board. All of that math had to be created and started by the people who decided they really wanted to fly like the bats and the birds.
Absolutely. And also, I just want to reiterate the point that you made earlier, is that bats, if they're coming by you, it's because they're probably in pursuit of an insect that's near you. But from what I read was their vision is not the best. They use echolocation.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. And it is what it sounds. They're listening to the sounds of the world, of the location they're on. When we walk, we all make a sound. I don't care if you're on sidewalk, on grass, on gravel. This is good for everybody. They are picking up all of those signs. They can understand if this is a deer going by, is this a mountain lion going by, is it a person going by, or is it another bird going by? It all tells them the part of where we're going. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Is it time to go? Is it not time to go? Because those are really important things that they need to know to live another day, either with food and or with a predator coming up. These are really important things, because snakes, if they get a hold, they'll eat them. Coyotes eat them. Everybody will be in the line of, who do I not stay away from? Well, when you're that small or that big, doesn't matter how big your wingspan is, you're still in trouble if you get caught. And what I don't want people to do, and I want you to, biggest thing I'd like you to walk away from all this fun information is, we need each other. The insects, they monitor the bugs and the way they do things, and all of the reasons why they exist have a plan. There is not one animal, even a skunk, why they're on the earth. There is a reason. It doesn't mean we have to know the reason. I encourage you to read and study and figure it out, because I'd really like to know about mosquitoes. I brought this up a couple times. I don't understand mosquitoes. I'm not sure why they exist, but they're terrible when they bite you all over places, because they don't have to just bite you once. They can bite you a couple times and you get a lovely itchy bump. But these guys need that too. That is really important. And this one, I'm hoping bats you can support even more, because they're eating all those bugs that you don't want. It's better than having what is that little electric thing in Florida that they have that zips the bugs, electrifies them all. Well, guess what? You won't have to pay for the electricity or that tune if you have somebody else eating your bugs. And a lot of people do this for their gardens. Now, this guy might not be the right fit for gardens, but he might. I know people who hate groundhogs because they dig up everything. Maybe give them a place to dig up, and that will be your turned soil area. We can coexist.
I love that about coexisting. And speaking of that, what I've read is that bats are usually not alone. They are usually in colonies of 25 or 35. And if one makes its way into your house, which it probably doesn't want to go into your house, but if it makes it, look out, more are coming. We do have a follow-up comment from Daryl in South Africa. I had a fruit bat from a baby for 6 months. It flew into my mom's bedroom window and onto her pillow. It was the cutest lull this ever unit. I had to give it to my family. Someone worked for the SPCA. So there's someone who has real experience with bats. So
that's
thank
wonderful,
you,
Daryl.
for
That's
sharing
absolutely wonderful. And you see what I love when we get outside of ourselves is we experience the world in the eyes of something else, someone else. And I will bet Daryl had that experience. I know all the animals I come in to contact with, the black widow spiders. I'm like, no, you stay over there. This is the agreement. And then when you can't, and there's not enough bugs, then we'll go outside. Or we'll go outside now. And you get that, extra cup that hangs around in your house like mine, so that you don't hurt them. Because I can't believe that humans know better, because we have a whole world right now we can prove we don't, and that nature didn't have a plan. Just because we don't know what the nature plan is, and why do we have weeds, and I'm always having to pull them when I was a kid. My mom had roses everywhere in the desert. She had a wonderful, she had acres, it felt like, of roses. And I was always having to go pick all the weeds so the roses could thrive. So this is the same thing. We as people need to realize we must coexist. We must. This is no longer a choice, or, hey, it would be a great mantra or make a song about, because our world is dying with overuse, over trash, non-recyclables, and the recyclables that we do think we're recycling, I found out some of them aren't. So we need to constantly be doing better and sharing what we know and encouraging everybody that we can do better. And believe it or not, bats have a really big place in this. They really do. The birds do, the snakes do. I can tell you from personal experience, Dr. Jacalyn, what a snake bite feels like. Did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did. You did.
And I've been bit by parakeets, very bad. And this one and that one. Yeah, if you're going to handle as many animals as I have, some point, one of them's going to go, no, whatever we're doing, I don't want to do. And I think the funniest one, because I know I was laughing, was doing a demonstration in a children's class. They were probably about fourth or fifth grade. And the snake turned around and started biting me, because the kids just got too many, and the energy was very happy. They weren't like jovian and laughing and making lots of noise. That's a lot of carnivores to come in, and he's in the middle of the snake. And so when he started biting me, he was non-venomous, of course. And I'm thinking, hello, let's take a break. And one of the kids said, oh, you got bit. Oh, no, I'm fine. Let's all not panic. So that was my first responder training of learning to just take a deep breath. Because I knew if my energy got up, the kids' would get up and the snake would just keep biting me, basically, or God forbid, would be harmed because he tried to get out of my hands. And then we got a snake in a classroom running around. It's just really important if you can turn it into, what does my animal need? And how can I accommodate that so everybody has a good experience? I think that's really, really important when we truly coexist with trees, plants, zucchinis, I don't know, and all the animals that go with them, even the mosquitoes and the honeybees that are going to sting you or tell you, hey, I don't want anything to do with you.
It's amazing. I was reading about what a bat bite would feel like, which I'm just saying universally don't want to actually. But apparently people have been bitten by bats in their sleep. I don't know if they're sleeping outdoors or indoors, but there's a stinging, but in many times there is no sensation.
Mm.
And it's just a matter of putting the covers over your head.
Well, just think, just hope we get the one. I believe there's snakes that do it too. It's been a long time, so I'm gonna look this up. But they have something like that numbs the skin, so they can take a good long drink before the deer feels them. Let me tell you, these ones that are going for them are literally crawling up like a deer's leg, tiger's leg. Not, they're usually not in that part of the country. And so that they're not getting killed or swatted at, because it creates, and I know mosquito bites for me make me itch like crazy. And it's about what they put in to get your blood to not coagulate, which means clot, and it comes into them liquid. So this is what is happening, is they're putting something to numb your skin for them, for their little bitty, pincher that they're having to go through. And then they're able to bring that blood out. If you are like have an open cut wound, the body first is coagulating, making sure to make a scab as soon as possible, because having a break in the skin is not healthy.
It's incredible. And I think this has been a very special episode about bats. And we actually have a very special announcement coming from our expert correspondent in London. He's joining us, Mr. Ian Pelham Turner. He's an international broadcaster with over 1 billion followers. He's actually a very dear friend, and he's an expert on the royal family. Let's welcome Mr. Ian Pelham Turner to the show.
Welcome.
Ian, nice to see you.
Welcome.
You're on mute.
We're going to get your speaker on.
There you go. Welcome, sir. Nice to see you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can absolutely hear you. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's I've done 4 interviews in 45 minutes so far.
It's amazing. Well, I know that there was news breaking during the show. So you were saying before that there was going to be a very big announcement, and I'm aware of what it is. It's incredible. I'm going to spotlight you. Tell us what the announcement is coming from the royal family today.
Okay, but basically, in January, Kate had abdominal surgery, which was successful. After that period, it was then discovered that she had cancerous cells as well. So all this has been kept well away from the general public in Britain and anywhere in the world. And so the reason why Kate has really disappeared off the scene, obviously, is that she's sort of having treatment for cancer right now. And she felt that this was now the time to actually go public with it. I think the reality at the moment was that I still think it's too soon for her, to be perfectly honest. I am in contact with some people who are very close to William at the moment as well. And so there may be further statements coming out over a period of time. So, but Britain is in a state of shock tonight. There's no two ways about it. Kate is very much loved in Britain. Now there's an outpouring of emotion as well, because obviously it's not only thinking about Kate, and as she has said on the video that she has released tonight, she wanted to make sure that the children realized that she was going to be okay, and she needed to sort of discuss this whole thing with William at the same time. So there's been a whole outpour of media already. Apparently, from what I'm gathering, and this is a running story as we're talking at the moment, even her staff were shocked at the news tonight. So she obviously hadn't even told her staff what has been happening over the cancer treatment as well. So that there's, at the moment, it's a running hot news story, as you can imagine. I'm fielding calls from all over the world right now on, what are the ramifications of this. There are certain ramifications because obviously the first thing at the moment is that the royal family has been slimmed down anyway by King Charles. And now, obviously, they're running into trouble as well, because obviously, if Kate is having cancer treatment, that really restricts totally the amount of time that William can actually put into public functions. Now, Queen Camilla at the moment, I mean, she's been like Roadrunner. She's zigzagging across Britain, like, and sometimes doing 3 or 4 assignments a day right now to actually try and keep some semblance of order what's going on. I would imagine Princess Anne, Edward and Sophie are coming into it as well. Now, basically, some of the questions I'm being asked tonight by the American channels is what's happening about Harry and Meghan. Will they come back? Will they reach out? Because at one stage, Harry always called Kate the sister he never had. And so they were very, very close together. So at the moment, there's this whole situation happening where I'm getting speculation tonight. Will Harry and Meghan return to Britain as well to see how they can sort of help? Obviously, right now, it puts the royal family into total disarray at a time where I've never quite seen that. I've been a journalist 57 years. I've worked with 5 generations of the royal family as well before becoming into broadcasting. But I've never seen disarray like this. And I think at the moment, we're still in a state of shock. We're trying to sort of work out exactly, what the ramifications are. And at the moment, I'm fielding calls from people close to William as well, really just gaining advice because no one's ever done this before. The royal family have never been in this situation.
Ian, thank you so much for being here and bringing us this breaking news. I actually watched the video and my heart just went out to her. I mean, first of all, she's gone through the abdominal surgery. Now she has to go through the chemotherapy. She has a family. She's a human being. She's a person. And everybody's been asking what's going on. Where is she? Is it really her? Is there some kind of conspiracy? Is there a body double? And so for her to come forward and share some information that's so private and then basically pleading, please let us have our privacy. Yeah. That took a lot of courage.
I'm absolutely right. I think she's been very, very brave over this whole thing right now. Over the past 10 days, it's been a running news story. Helena Shard, obviously my colleague and I, we've been fielding programs right across the world. I think the issue at the moment is now that this has been released, that I was actually told about this last night. Not the full ramifications of it, but certainly points that still haven't actually come out yet. And so there is more information to come out at some time. But, the reality at the moment is I hope now that all this social media salacious gossip will stop, because that's putting even more pressure on them at the same time. I hope the pressure that they were under, that they felt they were under, that was required them to actually make this statement tonight. I think that is another situation that needs to be addressed, because, who is putting so much pressure on them? The whole point of privacy at the moment, I think, has to be reinstated for the family, because why on earth should Kate feel that really has to sort of talk about this and disclose a lot of the facts as well? And of course, at the same time as all this is going on, there is the investigation now, the police investigation at the London clinic, where allegedly 3 people may be questioned over whether they actually tried to find out more details about the actual operations at the London clinic at the same time. You know, there is so much pressure on this family right now. And the biggest problem is who is actually going to take over a lot of the state's duties. Harry and Meghan, you know, we are hearing maybe reaching out. Whether or not Harry and Meghan will be asked to come back, requested to come back, or whether there will be a melting of issues between William and Harry, and obviously Kate and Meghan as well, is yet to be seen, because it is, as you say, it is just really rolling news right now. And as I say, the whole world is sending out messages of sympathy at the same time.
Ian, do we have any idea as to whether or not this alleged breach of health information led to the announcement? Is there a tie-in between the two?
I don't think that's the case. I think what's been happening at the moment is you know, from the sources that I'm hearing of, yeah, you know, Helena and I, we've been fielding calls, for 10 days now, you know, and the pressure is going, We knew, we were told privately there was going to be a big announcement, but it was supposed to be on Monday, then it was Tuesday, and when I'm working with American crews like yourself, you know, it's very difficult then to actually sort of find out what's going on, because nobody really knew what was going on at all. So I think at the moment we were expecting a big announcement. Why they always do it at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, just when we're winding down for the weekend? Yeah, I think that, you know, but there you go. You know, that's what's happened. So I don't think it's been a case of the clinic in London causing the thing. I just think that in reality, so much pressure has been put on William and Kate anyway. And so I think the only way that they could deal with it in the end, unfortunately, is to talk about it. My comments that I've passed on to them via the person I'm talking to is, I think it was still too soon. I don't think it was necessary right now. And it's almost like they've been bullied into actually talking about this issue. Which obviously, you know, the thing we have to consider more than anything is not only William and Kate, it's the children as well, you know, and how that will affect them at the same time.
Absolutely. And something else that really resonated with me when the Princess of Wales was speaking in the video at the very end, she was basically reaching out to anyone else out there in the world who has cancer and saying, listen, there is hope. Because if you think about it, she's so influential, she's so beautiful, so intelligent, she's so worldly. And for her to get cancer at her age, it just goes to show you it can happen to anyone. And that wasn't even a thought when she went in for the surgery. It was an after the fact. So I hope that it will also be a call to action for people to go to their doctors, get screening, get your annual physicals, and take care of yourself.
Absolutely right, because you know, at the moment, I've never known a period like this ever, you know. And I think obviously when King Charles came out and started talking about his cancer treatment, then it got millions of men right across the world listening to that and going to their doctors or doing health checks anyway as well at the same time. So it's been very positive in that way. The problem is, as I say, at the moment, is that how does the royal family deal with this? You know, there comes a time when Camilla now is what, 74, 75. You know, so she's rushing around Britain as if she's the other way around. She's 47. You know, the reality is that the royal family are going to get exhausted. The one good thing is that the Easter holidays are coming up soon in the UK, and traditionally then the royal family have a holiday break as well. So whether or not they release this information now before their holiday break so that their holiday break wouldn't be interrupted is probably another factor.
There's so many facets of this announcement and the situation. And just to think 2 family members with cancer, I mean, that's overwhelming. And you're in the public eye and there are all these expectations. Do you think the public will be satisfied with the information that's been provided and back off and stop speculating and give them their privacy?
I think that the problem at the moment is it's pretty well out on social media, all the different allegations, right now. So that hasn't helped any time at all. And so commentators like myself, I've just done, because Helena, I wasn't able to do the show today. So I've just filmed the show that you will see in a couple of days on USA Global TV as well. But at the very start of the show today, the call from people like myself now is back off, Kate. Just leave her alone now for the time being. I wasn't expecting, personally, this is a shock to me as well. I wasn't expecting this 6 o'clock announcement tonight because I thought it had been parked for the time being. I was aware of the principles behind what had been said, but then that was said in a context of being able not to talk about it, but just to understand what the situation is. And so I think at the moment, will it stop the gossip? No. This world now seems to be infiltrated by malicious gossip, and it's almost like we've come to accept this as part and part of our rationale. But for me, I'm obviously fearful for Kate. I'm sorry for William, but I'm very fearful for the children who may become even more emotionally upset. And don't forget, from William's point of view, his mother dying early in life and the emotion upset he faced and Harry faced as well. We don't want another generation of royal children emotionally involved that with a hurtful aim behind them from the social media.
Excellent points. Thank you so much. AMINAH, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, I really appreciate the details. I'm English by heritage. Got the crowns and the cross and all the cross nuts and all of that, been there with my family. What I would like to know is, are the children being supported? And what I'm asking is, I would love to be on the receiving end. I loved hearing what you said. It gives me peace of mind of just saying they're human beings, and I send great love and healing for them. And if you could also set us at ease, if you seem to know how the children are doing. There's so many people that will want to send things and overwhelm them that way. Is it possible? And can I encourage you to get out what they need, like time alone? You said that a really, really kind way, and a really way to accept that and say, oh, this is good for them. This is a really good thing for them. And anything that we can also hear as far as, so many people want to do something. So it's give to your cancer society in your backyard, give to, this place, send whatever it is that you can put an action to it. So many people want to do something for those we love. And again, I've grown up to watch the monarchy also, especially since my family has that in their line. So please let us know how we can be supportive and not be invasive, because I love where you said everybody back off, no more letters, mail, everything. Maybe ask your whole office to order, sign one card with those true feelings, but they don't need 9,000 vases of flowers. They need
Yeah.
time. You said it so perfectly. They need time. They need private time, not time they owe you. This is their lives they're talking about. And I heard you. I would really love to hear even more succinctly, do this. Send them the kids in your class with a happy face, whatever you think would be valuable, because it's not about what can you buy them. No, they don't need 9 bouquets of blah, blah, blah flowers that all die and then serves inside together. Maybe one of the children has a love for Harry Potter. Maybe the other one has, you know, this other book or whatever. And these tools give the children something to do. If God forbid they have to wait till mom comes home for the appointment or dad has to go through chemotherapy, these are healthy choices that we can also support. They don't have to go out and get out and say, hey, I saw this great book. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe your child will.
I mean, I totally agree. I think, you know, the reality at the moment, a lot of the time, you know, with the children, this is such unknown territory for people like myself working with the royal family, talking about the royal family as well, and for them to experience themselves. I've never known a period, obviously the last period of where the royal family were concerned about cancer was the Queen's father, late father, George VI. And how quickly that cancer took hold in those days, and how quickly, unfortunately, he passed away. These days, as you so rightly say, you know, the treatment of cancer is coming on in leaps and bounds. First of all, Kate tonight, you know, it is very emotional to watch this video because you feel sad for her. That, you know, she is sat by herself actually having to do this video in the first place. There comes a time, I think Jacalyn knows that I'm a great feminist. I want women to win in this world, you know, and the feeling that she felt under so much pressure to actually reveal what's been happening right now. You know, as I say, you know, there comes a time when kindness needs to take over from inquisitive natures who are just trying to either create a name for themselves by putting out malicious gossip.
Well said. Ian, what's coming up for me also is when you think about what it takes to get through a day and you don't have all these issues and you're not royalty. And so you're William and you've got your father, you've got your wife, you've got your children. How does he find the strength and perseverance to take care of himself so he can be there for others?
Yeah, as I say, you know, it's an impossible time for William, you know, because obviously he's heir to the throne. If something happens to Charles, then you know, as I say, I've never known. So sometimes I'm lost for words. I've never known a criteria like this. This is an absolute royal crisis. There's no two ways about it. How does William maintain a working environment and an environment for the family? You know, so basically, what normally would happen if this was more serious with King Charles, for example, then basically they appoint what's known as royal councils. So royal councils are members of the royal family who are upgraded in status to actually act on behalf of the king if he's incapacitated in some way. But right now, you know, it's like a double whammy going on. You know, with both Kate and the king both suffering from cancer and being treated for it. And so, you know, how does William cope with this? You know, it's obviously Kate has her mother very much in the forefront. She's got her sister Pippa as well, that I think will sort of the Middleton family will obviously be very, very supportive to actually take some of the workload away. Things like it after Easter, and I think it's April the 18th, all the children go back to school. So it's the school run now. It's the normal applications, day-to-day applications of family life that William has to deal with. Where he's going to find the energy to actually deal with the amount of extra work that he was expected to do because of Charles's condition, goodness only knows. And I think what we will be seeing a lot more of is Camilla. Camilla, my goodness me, she's really stepped up to the plate as queen now, because as I say, she's rushing around the country. Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, are also very much on point now and working their hearts out at the same time. And obviously Princess Anne, who's probably the most hard-working royal member that we actually have. I mean, Camilla at the moment is almost working the same pace as Princess Anne, who's been doing it for 50 odd years. So, it is unseen, unknown territory, first of all. And there are other implications at the moment of what has happened to Kate that haven't been disclosed yet. And so basically, I think at the moment, she will value the responses, positive responses from around the world, but I don't think she'll want sympathy. She will want to use this as a platform for positive resources for cancer, and to be able to talk about them as and when she wants to do that.
Thank you, Ian. Just another question I have for you. From an outside perspective, knowing that family situations can be dicey, it seems like if there was ever a time for Harry to come back into the fold and be there for his brother, it would be now. What do you think?
I've always been an advocate of a united royal family. I think it's for me, all the senses are. I'm a big fan of Harry and Meghan as well, and I think the reality with what Meghan brought to the royal family was a connection and traction with people of colour in Britain. And so I'm a great advocate that, and she has that, like Kate's, that magic touch to her that wherever she went, she had that magnetism, and so does Harry as well, that magnetism to be able to put people at their ease. Even when they're working the crowds, they really work the crowds. And it for young children to see royal members, it must be fascinating and life-changing for them forever. I think with Harry at the moment, I'm being told tonight that there is not a welcome mat being put out at this precise moment in time. But I hope that the thawing of what's happening at the moment and the reality that Harry always regarded Kate for many years as the sister he never had. I mean, that they were inseparable, the two of them, alongside William. Then I hope and I believe that Meghan, in reality, has tremendous strength herself as well, to actually create more value for the royal family at the same time. So my hope is that they will find some way of re-engaging together to create the ideal platform: health, wealth, and happiness.
Very well stated. Thank you so much, Mr. Ian Pelham Turner. Thank you for taking the time to be with us live today from London at the evening there. What would you like our audience to know about the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show?
Well, it's ongoing. Thank goodness. You know, it's been such a strange time for us. So the show now, we're starting to gain more and more traction with it. And thank you ever so much, Jacalyn, for putting out USA Global, and obviously, you know, with the other fast channels that you're working with as well. So you've brought tremendous value to the whole program in the first place. Our hope is that we can further create more opportunities for people. We're in talks with the different groups right now, and so that there's a lot of interest in what we're doing. In reality, we've had to park that interest right now from people who want to work with us more, because obviously our time has been taken up, Helena especially, and myself, time has been taken up with you know, actually doing programs like this, you know, responding to what and trying to make some sense of what is going on at the moment with the royal family. But it's a type of show that I hope will promote the best of Britain, first of all. I hope it will give a great insight into the British way of life. And I hope that it inspires Americans as well to come to Britain at the same time, because we miss the American dollar. Our economy is just floating, you know, on empty virtually at the moment in a lot of ways. But apart from that, Americans bring so much richness whenever they come over. I'm not talking about actual money. I'm talking about their values and how much they actually enjoy the British way of life. And so I hope the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show encompasses that. And I mean, tonight's show, for example, that you'll see in a couple of days, I've talked about some of the etiquette situations that I found intriguing. You know, when I was researching the other day, you know, things like no autographs, and there's this, you know, there's this sort of whole set of about 24 rules that the royal family are supposed to adhere to. And one of them is no autographs, never give out autographs. And there's Meghan, of all things, there is Meghan signing an autograph book, and Harry laughing because he realizes what she's doing. So I hope we can bring a sense of entertainment, a sense of education, and a sense of the excellence that both our nations build together.
And for our viewers and our listeners, the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show is here on USA Global TV and Radio Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is now 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, but will soon be 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And Ian and I had the pleasure of meeting in person. It was actually a year ago, March 11th. We met in Orlando. It was a real treat.
Absolutely. And we got one of the biggest video audiences, didn't we? Because on the Saturday morning, we just sat down whilst we're having breakfast, and we decided just to record something. Yeah, and we got this huge video response as well. So perhaps we should do more of it. We should do some breakfast shows.
I think so. I'm all interested in doing it. So, but thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here, and thank you for breaking this news with us here at USA Global TV and Radio.
Have a great evening, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. You can follow Ian Pelham Turner over on Facebook. Just go and find his name there, and he would be more than happy to connect with you. So thank you again for watching our show. We're going to turn it over to our sponsors now. Please do follow us on the Roku Worldwide app, as well as Amazon Fire. Very soon we'll be on Apple TV. That's in the works. Hello to our new friends on Instagram. And thank you to all of our loyal viewers and listeners on all of our platforms across the world. We really do appreciate you. Have a wonderful and blessed weekend. And a key takeaway, please go to your doctor. Please get your physical exams. Please take care of yourself and be kind to others. And I'm going to just ask people not to be concerned with what someone else is doing. Just be concerned with what you're doing. Let's find a kinder and gentler world. Thank you again. Signing off now.
Women of the Caribbean and around the world, are you tired of the status quo? Tired of barely making ends meet? Tired of giving maximum effort for minimum results? Are you in need of change, a fresh start, a new outlook, a new perspective? It's time to break through. Join us along with women from around the world at the Empower Her Escape, a 5-day all-inclusive royal cruise to the Bahamas and Florida. Connect with world leaders and influencers and begin afresh your journey to more. Hear dynamic speakers with sessions on women in leadership, the importance of mentorship, how to start a business from the ground up, financial literacy, an integrated approach to wellness and wholeness, and so much more. Guest speakers include First Lady Anne-Marie Davis of the Bahamas, Her Royal Highness Katerina of Yugoslavia Lady de Silva, Her Royal Highness Queen Sekothali Mephena of South Africa, and Coach Max, Global Multi-Six-Figure Wealth Coach. Cruise packages include 2 nights at an all-exclusive resort, gratuities, taxes, and port fees, red carpet welcome and extravaganza, course materials, and a souvenir gift bag, flight not included. The Empower Her Escape Cruise takes place on May 15th through the 19th, 2024, departing from the port of Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, Florida. Hosts for this life-changing event are Coach Cherish Hollingsworth of Florida and Coach Mercy Gilbert of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.empowerherroyalescape.com or call us at 954-203-6608 or email us at cherishresiliencecoach@gmail.com. Connect, collaborate, celebrate at the Empower Her Escape Cruise.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.